120 beats per minute. That's
Can't go wrong.
Standard. That's kind of standard where it starts off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to put it there for the time being. And then I'm just going to put on the click track, meaning the little tick-tock sound that allows for me to hear how the beats are moving. So now I put that on, put on the click track. Can we hear that? Can you hear that? So now I have a click track up, and that's going to allow me to put everything in time with everything. And if I decide to play something like you do, it'll allow me to actually play in time. So now, do you set your tempos and your time signatures and everything, or do you just use them as they pop up when you turn it on?
No, I do set it, and it depends on what I'm writing. Just so you know. In fact, I want to tell us. Do you mind if I tell a little story, Rodney?
Not at all. Not at all. That's part of what this is, man. How did you get here?
Right. Many years ago, in Buffalo, New York, I was on the street. A mutual friend of ours, Rodney and ours, and we were on Norwood Avenue.
Norwood. Okay, yeah.
And Rodney came in and built a song in like 10 minutes. And it blew me away. It stuck with me forever. In fact, do you remember the name of the song, Rodney?
Do I remember the song?
The name of the song.
I think we called that "Don't Stop."
Don't Stop.
I remember that pretty well, actually.
Oh my God! If you and I saw it put together, but here's what I saw, and this is important for everybody who's listening to understand. That song was in your head.
Yeah. That I was putting. It was already there, and then I was just letting it come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so everything that I'm writing, you say I write daily, and it's true, I do, because I live daily. And what I'm writing is simply the musical story of my life.
Yeah.
If something significant happens that day, no matter how small and insignificant it seems, if it was significant to me, or if it touched me a certain way, or made me feel a certain way, then I normally get up around 5:30 in the morning, and I express that musically.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, what an interesting premise. Significant events in the day becomes the music of the day.
Absolutely. In fact, if one of the songs that we're going to listen to eventually is a song I wrote called, and this is going to make you laugh, Rodney, called Baby Steps.
Say it again.
The song was called Baby Steps.
Baby Steps.
Do you remember you had that conversation with me about giant steps?
Oh, yeah.
This is the song that came from that conversation.
Ah. Now, when you play your song, we need to hear it outside of your headphones.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be in the speaker.
Okay, you'll have it in your monitors. Good. So now just give me a little ride through how you put this song together.
Well, once again, everything starts off with the beat. And the beat is determined by, the groove determines the beat.
Gotcha. So you already have a groove in mind.
Yes, from the emotion of whatever it is. Once again, you were talking to me about giant steps and how simple it actually is, and actually it's more complex than simple, but it's actually more simple than complex. And so from that, I put together my interpretation of what you said.
Got you. And so you start with a groove, a vibe, and find a beat that fits that.
Absolutely.
And are you always successful at finding exactly the kind of beat that you want or need?
What I'll do is I'll keep searching until I actually find it. There's another song, Rodney, that I wrote recently. Once again about Rodney Appleby. The song is named "Spare the Rod and Spoil the Child."
Oh my goodness. I'm afraid of that. I'm almost afraid to ask.
So that's how things start. They start off with the groove. They start off with from the groove goes the beat, and then from there, normally I'll put a bass line to the beat.
Gotcha. So now you find beats, but I'm sure you're also looking at keyboard parts, possible guitar parts, horn parts, string parts, all types of percussion parts, all types of things that you can build into your song. So how extensive and how full and chocked full of sound do you like to make your songs and your selections?
It depends on what it is. Some songs are just beautiful in their simplicity, just being simple and expressive. Some songs, I'm feeling the funk. In fact, there's a song that I wrote that I've also pulled out called "Funk Used to Be a Bad Word."
Mm-hmm. Now, listen, I think we need to take a little brief pause. I know we took a little break to get some technical things together, and so I think we're about a minute over time, but let's take a brief pause. And why don't you cue something up for us and let us get a listen to some of what you've put together. And when we come back, we'll take a listen. All right?
Listen to Baby Steps.
They're turning it down just a little bit.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Juneteenth, also known as Jubilee Day, commemorates June 19, 1865, the end of slavery in the United States. This emancipation date is the longest running African American holiday in American history and officially became a holiday on June 17, 2021. This Juneteenth, remember the price paid by those before us as we honor this emancipation legacy.
Mental health awareness. You are more than enough. Mental Health Awareness Month has been observed in the U.S. since 1949, believe it or not. Many may not know that. But what we want to tell you today is, no matter what you're going through, this is the opportunity for all of us to come together and remember the value that each of us hold. No matter our diagnosis, socioeconomic status, background, or ability, we want every person out there to know that if all you did was wake up today, that was more than enough. Showing up just as you are for the people around you, and most importantly, yourself, is more than enough. Join us for More Than Enough campaign. When you get a chance, tag 106 Live Radio with hashtag More Than Enough, because we all support mental health. This is coming to you from Andriana Williams, a mental health advocate.
You're invited to our summer car wash fundraiser. Look at your ride as you cruise down the streets of Atlanta and you'll see something is missing. A good old-fashioned car wash. Well, look no further. Stop by 106 Live Radio in the Metro Fun Center parking lot for a special car wash event on Saturday, June 17th, 11 to 4 p.m. Our Team 106 will provide exceptional services and a fun experience. This is the place where excitement meets diversity 24/7. 1959 Metropolitan Parkway, Atlanta 30315. All proceeds go to the upgrade of our station equipment. See you there.
Keep those flash and machines humming. Let me tell you, it's always you. And the more sometimes
106liveradio.com, Atlanta.
Are you ready to elevate your connections and improve your networking skills? Here, you can take your career, brand, and organization to the next dimension. Networking with Valerie is your passport for personal and professional growth. Tune in every second and fourth Saturday from 11 to 12 p.m. for our networking events. This is the place to build and maintain relationships. On 106 R&B and Throwbacks, powered by 106liveradio.com.
Yeah, sweet blessings.
So we're just going to get something together here. We've been working on getting an MP3 over to the station because I think it's worth getting the sound much better so that you can actually hear what he's done. So I'm sending the email for Source for Wellness .media @gmail.com. All right. All right. So we're going to get that together. So basically, I think I did one of the same things you did, Dr. Lamb. When I put together a piece of music, I'm going to see if I can't pull it up right now. Put together a piece of music using actually some keyboard parts that were already played within the actual program, used some drum parts that were already there, put in maybe a couple of little drum fills and different things. So I'm going to take a look and see if I can't find that, close out of this one. And we don't need to save it. All right. Let's go here, open up recent, and here we go. I think this is it. Okay. Gonna open this up here. And I use kind of the same process you did, but I'm just interested in if the results are the same. And I need to know if the sound sounds okay too. As we go along and develop the show, we need to know technically what kinds of things we need to improve and how we can make the listening experience much, much, much better. So, gonna let this load in and let's go. How does that sound? Then I added in some live bass. These are all keyboard parts that were already within the program, meaning I didn't have a keyboard player available, but there were some parts available. So, okay, so Dr. Lamb, were you able to hear that?
Yes, sir.
How did that sound to you?
Sounded phenomenal. I was over here dancing. I hope anybody didn't see me because I can't really dance that way.
Well, but as someone that uses the program, and knowing that some of those parts came out of the program itself, did they sound like loops, or were they used well enough to sound like maybe they were some players playing together? Because that's one of the goals.
You're actually hitting on the main part. The main part is if you're using digital loops, and if you use them well, can't really tell that they're loops.
Okay. Well, then here's what I'm interested in, because I know that one of the real keys to using the digital tools is to allow for them to actually feel more like a live band, to give that sense of live people playing. Now that's very, very difficult with digital. Can you tell me a little something about that part?
Yeah, that's
Trying to get that live feel out of a digital aspect.
I've been telling a friend of mine named Robert Dukes. Hopefully, he's on the broadcast. But the art of writing digital with digital loops is, I guess, picking the right loops to emulate what you're trying to say. You know, and
well, even once you've picked the correct groove, then you still have to use it and arrange it in such a way that it feels live and natural.
Absolutely. That's where the skill comes in, the art comes in, and understanding, some music theory at that point in time.
Gotcha. I know that for me, it's important to try to think what would happen if everyone was playing together, and what kinds of things would be humanly possible, and what kind of things seem out of order that a musician wouldn't necessarily do. And so sometimes trying to think in the logic of a particular instrument comes in handy as well. Being able to think in terms of what would this instrument do? How would a drummer do that? How would a guitar player play that? How would a keyboard player use that? Those kinds of things actually become considerations when trying to use these digital tools.
Exactly.
How much do you consider a live experience while using the digital stuff?
Absolutely. Everything I do relates to, can a human actually do this, do what I'm trying to do? Or does it sound mechanical or robotic, or does it sound computerish?
Yeah, that mechanical feel is I think the thing that's like the downfall to some of the digital stuff. It can become very computerized, very mechanical, very lifeless, as it were. No variation in dynamics, no breath.
I got a question for you.
Different things that make the music feel alive can be missing.
Right.
So now, how do we address those types of issues?
So let me pose something to you, and this is just a question I want to throw out there. Can AI write music?
A what?
AI.
AI. We had this conversation with a couple of guests of mine here on the podcast talking about AI. And one of my guests, Mr. Percy Jones from Buffalo, who's one of the musicians that left and went to Japan and, produced music with groups over there and did tours and things. He and I worked together a lot. He actually talked about an AI program that you can tell the program, you can record some tracks and then tell the program the type of production you want it to have. And it'll calibrate it to that particular requirement. Now, I remember back in the day when producers, like a good friend of mine, may he rest in peace, Nick Blagona, they had incredible skills and knew something about acoustics and sound so that they uniquely could get a particular kind of a sound recording. Now they're saying AI, if you tell AI what you want, say you want AI to do something like Nick Blagona, let it listen to some Nick Blagona and it'll do that. That's almost that. Isn't that kind of cheating?
Cheating.
I'm just curious about it because, and I'm hoping soon to have a gentleman online. I'm hoping to have a gentleman online pretty soon where he can talk about recording, because he's been doing it for years and he's been in different groups over the years. He even did some work with Tyler Perry and people like that. So I'm hoping to get him on here to see from a production standpoint with these AI things that's coming, what he sees coming down the pike, because a lot of the bragging and a lot of the skills and a lot of the uniqueness of production, that seems to be coming more of a digital code now. So that seems to be the way things are moving. So were you able to get an MP3 sent over to the station?
I sent two of them over in two separate ones in two separate emails.
Okay. Well, I'd like to get one queued up if we can.
Okay.
Get a listen, because when it was playing before, the sound wasn't quite what we needed it to be. So if we can get one queued up.
Spare the Ride.
That's what this one is called?
Spare the Ride. For the child.
Okay. So are we able to get that queued up? She said she don't have it.
Okay. Can the email say it again?
sourceofwellnessmedia@gmail.com.
Is it Source of Wellness Media with no dot?
Yeah, let me verify that with her.
And you wrote Source for Wellness. Is it Source of? Source for?
I think here. Hold on. Let me send this to you.
Okay.
Let me send this to you. I believe this is the correct one. So you should get this. Okay. I think that's it.
Okay.
So once you get that over there to her, we'll make sure we get that played. But I find it interesting the way the tools work. It's with several guests that I've spoken with, I've had kind of mixed emotions about the digital thing. Because on one hand, it really does place a lot of opportunity into people's hands. But then on the other side of things, it requires a lesser degree of knowledge and skill, because a lot of what's in the program itself requires only the need for input, not the need for understanding what it is you're inputting. And so it's a different, it's a little bittersweet for me, because I'm one, I don't know, maybe it's just me and the nerd in me, but I love the study and the understanding of music and the taking time to get the fingers to move and do the things that they're supposed to do. I really enjoy that. It's not just a matter of I have to do it if I want to be good. I actually enjoy it. And so with me being able to sit down and play keyboard parts without knowing how to play the keyboard, and I'm not even playing the parts, I should say input keyboard parts without even having to play. There's something about that I just have as a musician, I just have some kind of feeling about that. And I guess it's that difference of coming from the old school and moving into the new school, coming from analog, moving into digital. There's always going to be a part of me that's going to be over there in the digital world. I mean, in the analog world. It's always going to be there, even though I do understand, see, and I benefit from the digital conveniences. So how often do you get to play out live with other musicians?
Not as often as I would like. In fact, which is primarily, I'd much rather play with live musicians than playing with digital, digital inputs and loops.
Gotcha.
Much rather, because it's a totally different musical experience. Yeah. Totally different. Whereas when I'm writing something through loops and digital, I have to bring everything. Everything is through me. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no other creativity. There's no other input but my own.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And
do
so
you find
that?
Do you find that to be limiting?
Absolutely, yes. Yes. By the way, I sent the two loops over there.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let me see if maybe they arrived, because if they have, then when we come back from our next break, we're gonna get them queued up and get them played. And again, this digital thing, trying to get all the digital information where it can be properly displayed, is another one of those challenges.
Yes.
There's some videos that I have that I'm looking to see how do I actually convert them so that I can then have them played live one evening while we're here live. So it's always a challenge with this digital technical equipment and stuff, So
it's perfectly imperfect.
Perfectly imperfect. I even call them sometimes the great modern inconveniences. So let's talk a little bit about um, mixing live and digital as a matter of one thing. Because one of the things that I do sometimes is I take the tracks that I've created and I take them with me out and play live.
Right.
And actually have my own music, my own self, playing with myself as an actual live performance. How often do you see that happening in Atlanta?
I think it happens much more. I was on a cruise ship just recently, and I saw a one-man show play some phenomenal music. It was phenomenal. Everything was digitized, and it was exactly perfectly written for him.
Okay, so I got the signal that the music actually did arrive. So let's take a break. Let's let the studio get the music all queued up. And when we come back, let's take a listen to Spare the Rod.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Don E. Miller, licensed professional counselor. He has the formula for wholeness: encourage, empower, educate, enrich. It's called the E effect, and it will change your life. The E effect will empower the individual who may be mentally impaired to get involved in programs to help them live a productive life. These programs, which also enrich those in need by providing education and information, which promotes a high quality of life. For more information, call Don E. Miller at 678-741-5337 or visit the website at www.theeffect.net.
Calling all authors. Do you want to promote your book? Get heard, get seen, make more money. Douglasville Books and 106 Live Radio is now offering promotional packages to create a better audience just for you. 770-949-4363. Douglasville Books, the people's choice. You're invited to our summer car wash fundraiser. Look at your ride as you cruise down the streets of Atlanta and you'll see something is missing. A good old-fashioned car wash. Well, look no further. Stop by 106 Live Radio in the Metro Fun Center parking lot for a special car wash event on Saturday, June 17th, 11 to 4 p.m. Our Team 106 will provide exceptional services and a fun experience. This is the place where excitement meets diversity 24/7. 1959 Metropolitan Parkway, Atlanta 30315. All proceeds go to the upgrade of our station equipment. See you there.
Looking to get away, relax your mind, or take a short trip to your favorite destination? Then book your next trip with Love Travels. With Love Travels, your next trip or vacation will be an enjoyable one. No trip is too large or too small. Love Travels specializes in wine tours, land vacations, and cruises. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, not many people could book a vacation, but at Love Travels, you can now book your next vacation or trip with us. Contact Tilda Love for a consultation and booking information at 404-981-7457. or email at lovetravels590@gmail.com. At Love Travels, we love vacations.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to tell everyone else.
Ladies and gentlemen,
About 106liveradio.com.
All right. So we're back, and the studio has a copy of the MP3. So let's get started. Let's get this thing queued up. I can't wait to hear it. Spare the rod. So let's get it queued up. And to remind everyone, this is definitely a Logic music construction with bass line added. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lamb. That cut is very interesting.
Rodney,
I got a lot of questions.
before we break. Okay.
No,
All right, go ahead with your question.
I just have a lot of questions because I heard a lot of things. And so the first thing I want to ask you is, knowing that you said already that 99% of what you do is part of the digital package. So right off the bat, I'm going to ask you, were the vocals also part of the digital package?
Do I look like I can sing?
Well, actually, you do. You look like you could. Now, I'm not saying, but in fact, those were digital samples as well.
Those were samples and loops.
So So this thing goes not just with instruments, but with voices as well.
Voices, anything else, sound effects. In fact, I have a bunch of songs where I use a lot of nature sound effects. I use water sound effects, rain,
Oh, wow.
name it. In fact, I got a song called Summer in Buffalo. No, it's called Buffalo Summer, sorry.
Uh-huh.
And it started off really sunny and beautiful, and by the end of the song, it was raining. You know what I'm talking about.
And you actually hear the rain, huh?
You hear the rain, it starts raining.
Wow. That's very cool. So I imagine you have a lot of fun doing this.
It is cathartic. It is absolutely cathartic for me. It's
us more about it.
It's how I heal. It's how I heal myself. It's how I resolve all issues, good or bad, inside of me. So it's not. I'm not doing it for broadcast. I'm not doing it for selling. I'm doing it because I'm writing my life in music, and I'm learning each day how to write my life better, how to speak my life better.
Wow.
There's another last song, if we can squeeze it in here, that I sent to them. It's called Family Communion.
What is it called again?
Family Communion.
Well, then let us close out with that one. I'd like to thank everybody for signing
Absolutely.
in, logging on, dialing in, and being with us here at the Rodney Appleby Experience. Thank you, Dr. Lamb, for sharing your constructions with us. And let's cue it up and ride it out.
Thank you for having me.
That's a nice little groove.
That's what a family communion is. A nice groove.
All right. We'll see you guys again next week here at the Rodney Appleby Experience. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Lamb.
Rodney. Ciao.
Wow, man. Very nice.
As always, it has been our pleasure to bring you tonight's program. The magic of music goes far beyond its entertainment. It is nourishment for our soul. You're encouraged to go to 106liveradio.com/Rodney and hit the link to support the Rodney Appleby experience. Donations, large and small, are always welcome. Sponsors are also an important part of our ability to continue to provide quality programming, interesting guests, and entertaining performances. You can always reach me here at the station, or you can reach me directly at rodneyappleby57@gmail.com or at 706-362-5328. I look forward to hearing from you. Please tune in through the week for other interesting programs with our 106 family. We appreciate your support.